Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So slow love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So slow love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Them one we just waiting to exhale from slavery. Plenty hostility to make the vibes be hazy. To turn the earth into an atmosphere to fear the hemisphere Babylon, the city of adversity. Complex of complexity to make man uneasy. And still continue sequels of unequal daily. Try to make shatter breath mystery so we don't breathe deeply. To have our society full of anxiety. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Once we often puffing with anger and raging, and running out of breath, upset, hyperventilating. Some be gasping for air cause of the press of young pressure. And those in sufferation feel like they're suffocating. From economical segregation, strangulation, and all of the false teaching them were in circulation. Situation be causing people heart palpitation. Snake toxic to nature and the nation. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Put to rest the respiratory system. Uniform brutality, bronchitis, them victim. Them want exit your oxygen from out of existence. Fixated and fantasize about man asphyxiation. Them want asthma, they breath of life just like an infection. And got the air polluted with them wicked intention. Try to panic attack me with trial tribulation. The toxic to nature and the nation. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So slow love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So slow love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress.
That's right. Shalom, Mishpachah. Shalom, shalom. Hope I can be heard. Brother Shay, can I be heard?
You can be heard loud and clear.
All right.
I'd be heard.
Yes, you can be heard loud and clear.
Okay.
I hope everyone can hear us loud and clears. All righty. All praise to the Most High. Well, welcome back to another Friday Night Live. It has been raining tremendously over here. Buckets. Roads are turning into rivers and rivers into roads. But we are alive and kicking. We are grateful to our King for being here again on another Friday night so we can fellowship with you all. It is such a blessing to fellowship in the Word. I think the Word is so important to connect every Hebrew, regardless of our location. And we are ever so thankful that this is an exercise, knowing that very soon in the future, when that kingdom comes, and his will be done on earth, we will all be able to be under one umbrella. There's not going to be any divisions. There's not going to be anyone trying to, do things out of order. The Most High will be king. Our Messiah is going to be king, and we all going to serve him as it is written. So we want to welcome Mishpachah down in the Caribbean. Shalom to each and every one of you. To the families over in South and Central America, shalom to each and every one of you. Right here in these divided states of America, a lot of stuff happening here. Cross over in Canada, shalom to each and every one of you. To the families in the UK, shalom, shalom. In Africa, shalom. Throughout that continent, many Israelites over there. Over in Europe, shalom to each and every one of you. The Middle East, the Far East, and every island of the sea, we greet you all by saying shalom, 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 and welcome. Before we get started with a word of prayer, just a quick note, family. YouTube has placed me in jail again. This time it's, I think they said 2 weeks. So 2 weeks incarceration behind a virtual prison because last night I have a lot of videos or classes that I haven't posted on YouTube as yet in the archives. And so I was going through the catalog and I saw, well, hey, I got all of these videos. Let me just go ahead and upload something. So I went ahead and I uploaded 5 videos, and one of them got flagged, removed, blocked, and direct escort to prison. The others have been posted. So, hey, you know what? At least we got four out, and we're grateful for that. YouTube said that if they find any more issues, they're going to remove the channel completely. So that's one issue. And then, of course, trying to get the website working the way it's supposed to. The platform that I'm using for the website, I don't really care too much for it. So I'm going to have to shop around for something a little better because the way that the videos, sometimes when I try to upload a video on the website, it will say it's uploaded, and then when they come back to see if it's working, it says there's an error with the file or something. Try again, try again, try again. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. So I'm gonna have to find something else that's better. And I don't like some of the way the background operates as far as, the thumbnails and layout. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but we are grateful that in spite of all the regulations that has been happening with the ministry, and not just mine, ours alone, but many others, we're still grateful that we do have platforms that we can exercise voice to preach the word, to teach in season and out of season. And it's a blessing, even though, remember, it's free. It's the people's platform that we are utilizing. They allow us to come on, and they set the rules, and we just have to abide by those rules as best to our ability. But the thing is, we don't know what really, all the ins and outs, because I've seen other channels that, say certain things and they get away with it, but we know the times that we live. So nevertheless, the Most High is still on the throne, and he's to be praised, and I'm happy that we have gotten this far, and we all going to continue to pray for one another, that the message of the kingdom continues to go out. And so I'm grateful. So with that said, Brother Shay, shalom to you. Everything okay in your end?
Shalom, shalom. Yes, Rebbe. I was just here thinking earlier.
You want to pump your mic up just a little bit more.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. I was just wondering if we were going to have Friday Night Live, because I don't know what software this was on, based upon the platforms and how things was crashing all day and stuff going on around the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't quite sure. And while we're having this, there's breaking news that London is on fire right now. So
What?
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. But let's begin. Let's start. I'll have Elder open up with a word of prayer. Shalom, Elder.
Shalom, Brother O'Shea. Shalom, Brother Yona.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom. Shalom,
shalom.
family. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we are so thankful. We are so grateful to you for the blessing that no man can stop because you are in authority. Therefore, we thank you because you are our Heavenly Father. And you promise us that everything is going to be okay for us. So therefore, Father, we thank you even for the hard time and everything that we are getting. We pray that thou may take over on this platform tonight. Everything that's going to be said and done, let it be according to your will. May you, Father, may you rest your hand upon the heads of those that are not feeling well, of the brethren, that thou may heal them from the crown of the head to the sole of their feet. And all of us again that come together tonight to participate, to hear the words from Brother O'Shea and Brother Yona. We pray that thou may bless the words that coming out from their lips, especially Brother O'Shea tonight as he teach. We pray that may speak to him, through him and for him, and also the same to Brother Yona. Likewise, bless him as he read, that the words will come out fluently, with power, and all of us will hear and will say thank you. Bless us and give us a wonderful service tonight as we depend upon you, Holy Father, through your Holy Spirit, that you may take over on this platform and bless us all, because we ask it through your Son Yeshua, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you,
Thank
Elder.
you so much,
Hallelujah.
Elder.
Yeah. So while we are here, the world is still turning and spinning, and in the news, they're talking about London is on fire. And tonight is the RNC, is what they call it, right? What the heathens call it, that's going on right now. So there's a lot of things that's happening out there.
Yeah, they said King Charles and Queen Camilla's rushed to safety after a man was spotted on the roof. So, a lot of crazy stuff happening.
Oh, yeah. Well, tonight we're talking about blackout. Blackout. What will you do when the lights go out? That's the question. And find it interesting that we had a small little IT global blackout today, or late last night, this morning, that affected a lot of people, banks, airlines, and a lot of things that we're going to talk about. But tonight's class is basically to stir up our minds and to help us get ourselves together for what's ahead of us. So we're going to get right into it. Coincidence or conspiracy? Everything we see happening is planned toward the preparation of the one world government. Agenda 2030, as we talked about in the past two classes, and many other things that we hear about in the news are all designed for the end times. So we see here, we all witness, some people saw it live. You may have caught the rebroadcast or the text, emails, whatever you get on social media about the attempted assassination of the former president, that is soon to be the president, according to a lot of different sources. And there's a whole lot of things going on behind the scenes. So the question that people have is this a coincidence or conspiracy? And this ties in tonight's class with everything that we've been talking about throughout the past months when it comes to preparation and getting our houses in order, getting ourselves in order. We see these people are playing chess. They're moving the chess pieces on the chessboard. On the right here, you see it says, meet the billionaires behind Trump and Vance. And you can see, I put that there because these are the ones who are sponsoring or financing this future president's presidency. And when you read down there, read that in the yellow part right here for me, Rebbe.
All right, I'm going to do the best I can. Meet the billionaires behind Trump and Vance. Trump and Vance claim they're fighting for working people. Let me see if you can make sure I can see this. But that's a lie. Can you make it a little bit bigger?
Yes, hold on. Let me make this a little bit
make it a little bit bigger. I'm struggling here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that's better. That's it. Let me try again. Meet the billionaires behind Trump and Vance. Trump and Vance claim they're fighting for working people, but that's a lie. News broke yesterday that some of the richest billionaires in the world are funding a super PAC to put them in the White House. These are the people who Trump and Vance would really be serving if they come to power. Elon Musk, who's the CEO of Tesla, and Ken Harary, a co-founder of PayPal. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we're seeing here is, let me make this box smaller again. What we're seeing here is the people behind the scenes. And I put this here because it all ties back to what they are planning overall on a global scale. On a global scale where these men, when you follow the money, you'll see who's behind all of the agendas. And these men are the ones that are pushing certain things behind the scenes. And we talked about a lot of these things before. But again, question, is this a coincidence or a conspiracy? That's the question. Create chaos to have control is a real thing. A lot of people don't believe that, but it is a real thing. My goal is to bring awareness and hopefully help as many as would listen to wake up and prepare themselves and their families for the coming days ahead.
Amen.
So this is what we're trying to do so that we can wake up and see what is going on. Now I'm gonna play our first video tonight.
And Brother Shay,
Yes.
that picture that I sent you with Costco, if you could pull it up on the screen too, so the Mishpagal can see. This was in the news, I think just not too long ago, about Costco. And I think it's important for you all to see this because, these companies don't just do stuff just for doing sake. If there's a market for it, they're going to sell it. So if you look on the bottom, it says Costco now sells Apocalypse Bucket with food that lasts 25 years. Y'all see that? Now, remember, before he plays the video, remember we talked about the movie that Obama and his wife, they wrote a book, or I guess his wife was included in that. But anyway, they wrote a movie was made called Leave the World Behind or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And with this blackout thing that happened early this morning, a lot of people have been making a connection to that movie also. So there's a lot of things that is happening. There's a lot of things that is happening, and sometimes we're looking for the thing to line up precisely.
Yeah.
That's not always the case.
Absolutely. We again, Mr. Pakal, we're not trying to predict the future by any means or be prophets or anything to that degree. We're just bringing the word and putting the pieces of the puzzle together from what we see, what we collect, and warning our people. So every time we bring news, we're just trying to wake up our people so they can serve the Most High and repent. Mm-hmm. And we are living in these times where anything can happen at any time. We don't know. A plane could crash right now in somebody's home. Earthquake could happen. A nuclear bomb could strike. We don't know. Anything can happen. The most important thing is that we have our lives right with the Most High. And we be the example down to the last breath that we have.
Man.
So while we're doing these classes, it's just to keep our people informed, to wake them up, that we may make those necessary changes towards salvation and protect our families the best way we can. Because when we do our part, the Most High will do his part. And he always keeps his word. So we're going to look at this video that I put together. A lot of these videos I put together so we can have a little more understanding of what we're talking about. So this is video number 1. And fair use, fair use.
Is this going to get us in trouble again?
Terrible.
Well, everything we do gets us in trouble. It don't matter what it is. We're speaking the truth.
All right.
We're speaking the truth, not the truth.
Yeah.
So here we go. So this is a compilation of different things I put together. Fair use.
We are terrible at listening to warnings about disaster.
To what extent would a reset be brought about by a change in the White House, the election of Joe Biden, for instance?
I don't know. We shouldn't speculate about the outcome of the election. We will see beginning of November, and then we can, in any case, we can, and the World Economic Forum is very open and as an open platform to integrate everybody who is willing to address those issues in a spirit, which means to exercise here true global citizenship.
So he's trying to push for the global citizenship, have one spirit and come together. This is basically what he's saying.
Gentlemen, let's
press the pause
President
button
Trump
because the president's here now.
Approaching the podium right now, being introduced.
And I found this interesting. So this video was taken back in January of 2020. It's very interesting.
By Klaus Schwab, who is the head of the World Economic Forum. Again, Donald Trump taking the stage here in Davos.
Congratulations on your 50th year hosting the annual meeting of the World.
And I just took out the important pieces that I needed, but he spoke for about 35 minutes about a lot of things pertaining to the economy and pertaining to energy and a lot of things that we understand that's happening right now.
World Economic Forum, a truly amazing achievement. It's an honor to address the distinguished members of this organization for the second time as president. When I spoke at this forum 2 years ago, I told you that we had launched the great American comeback. Today, I'm proud to declare that the United States is in the midst of an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen before.
And this happened back in 2020, like I said, and then the world shut down, and then everything hasn't been the same. So let's continue to listen.
No CME, no EMP, no cyber attack has ever hit this country yet. And so it is terribly challenging to muster the political will, the financial and the political capital, the media attention to change the law and fix ourselves.
We've been so successful that the United States no longer needs to import energy from hostile nations. With an abundance of American natural gas now available, our European allies no longer have to be vulnerable to unfriendly energy suppliers either. We urge our friends in Europe to use America's vast supply and achieve true energy security.
Good evening. We wanted to bring you up to date on why we're not on the air. Jessica Aguirre here with Audrey Assistio. As we told you a short time ago, we're experiencing massive technical difficulties, which have left us unable to do a newscast tonight.
I'll pause there real quick. So the part with Donald Trump that we was looking at a while ago, what he's saying is that America is the powerhouse and will have no issues with having its own power, its own energy, that they don't have to depend on the rest of the world. The rest of the world can depend on them for energy, for gas and fuel and so forth. So tonight's topic is called Blackout, and we're gonna see why. So this video that we're watching right now with the two ladies on the screen, this is last night, late last night, when the global IT blackout happened.
We have confirmed some information as to why we're not on the air and what the possible problem may be. We understand it's linked to CrowdStrike, which is a cybersecurity company. Many users experiencing this blue screen of death when using their computers.
Boy, if you are just waking up, this is something to kind of sit up and pay attention to. This is having impacts around the world, and it's all sorts of major industries where you're seeing problems with this. We'll go into detail in just a moment on this.
The global cyber outages that have caused delays and issues at European airports affecting travel, the media, and the London Stock Exchange website, among other things. And it seems likely that list is growing by the minute.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Hoda Kotb.
Good morning. Good to see you. You are coming on the air right now with breaking news. A massive global technical outage tied to CrowdStrike, which is a major cybersecurity provider, has knocked critical computer infrastructure offline all across the country and, in fact, all around the world. It's an issue with a software update. It's impacting lots and lots of Microsoft computer systems worldwide, from businesses to emergency services, 911, traffic lights, transit systems, and it's having a major impact on airlines as well. American, Delta, United, they're all keeping their flights grounded. You're looking at some live scenes from the airport. It is chaos again, 6 a.m. on the East Coast, and this is the scene now. They're having difficulty even printing any kind of boarding passes. This, of course, is a developing situation.
So, Mishpachah, this happened this morning, and there's a lot to pull out from this. But when you really look at it, is it a coincidence or is it a conspiracy again? Because today happens to be the RNC, as they call it, right? Where they're having the debate or whatever they're going to be
convention, national convention,
the Republican National Convention.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it interesting that you would have this global IT breakdown at this point. Just think about those things while we go through this class, because again, nothing is done without a reason. Okay.
And usually, a lot of times, they're trying to clear some files and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
If you watch the news, there's some talk about the Secret Service director, the one in charge, the lady. There were some Secret Service files that all of a sudden just got wiped clean. And she said, "Oh, it was just a computer glitch or something," and that's that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of cover up of certain things going on. So we have to. And I like what Sister Natasha said. She said this thing happened while everyone was asleep. On this side of the world we were asleep, but on the other side of the world people were well awake. And that's how things work, brethren. That's why we have to always be diligent in what we're doing. A lot of times when we have these types of conversations, those people around us, in many cases, they're not really getting that message. Their minds is not in preparation mode. You have to keep jolting them, reminding them. It's like pulling teeth sometimes. They don't really see what's going on. Their mind is everything is normal. But there will be a time when one day you're going to wake up and you can't go anywhere. You're not allowed to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what we're talking about tonight. People couldn't travel. What if you wake up one morning, you can't go anywhere at all to buy anything? What do you do? Especially for those that live in the cities, right?
Mm-hmm. And that is the question of the hour. What are you going to do, Mr. Carr? Are you ready for something like this? And tonight, when we go through, there's a lot of different questions I'll be proposing and a lot of things to make us think, okay? Blackout. When there is no light or power because of an electricity failure due to natural disaster, EMP, and or wartime. So these are things to think about that can cause the power or the grid to go down worldwide, because we can experience, blackout in small areas of towns or cities, depending on a storm. But we're talking about on a global scale here that will happen, okay? And as we go through, we'll see. Luke 21:34-35.
Word says, and take heed to yourself, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life. And so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth.
So it says, so that day come upon you unaware. And like in other places, it mentions the Most High is going to send his son back as a thief in the night, unaware, meaning there's no set warning. However, he gave his children clues to know when those times are approaching, so we can prepare ourselves. So we have no excuse. The world has an excuse, but we don't. Okay. For as a snare shall it come upon all them that dwell on the face of the earth. So this is something that everyone that's flesh and blood will experience. So this is not my words, Mishpachah. This is what is written in our Bibles.
I got a quick question for the Mishpachah in the chat. Those of you who live over in Texas, the Houston area, has the power come on as yet, or is it still off? Has the power been restored in most places? Okay, so Brother Gerald said, yes, sir, it's on. And when did it come on? How many days was it off for? Was it a week? Was it about a week, 2 weeks? I mean, it wasn't 2 weeks, right? It's about a week, 8 days. Okay. And I'm sure for those who, now that's Houston, that's a major city, right? But let me tell you, when you don't have power, life can be very miserable. Okay. I've been through that type of scenario before, real time, right? And it can be very miserable. I'm talking about gas can in your hand, standing in the line to try to get a little bit of fuel so you can drive around. Supermarkets is keeping the food for themselves and their family. They don't want to open up the stores. People are trying to break in. I've been through that scenario before. And throughout the night when you're trying to get some sleep, there's no power, just got candlelight. You can hear voices in the dark, people trying to siphon your vehicle to take the gas out of it, right? And then there's martial law where the MPs, the military police, is on the street, right, with their Humvees and stuff. So that's not a pretty sight. That's ugly. And what we're looking at today is just multiply that by maybe 100 or 1,000. Just multiply that.
And there's a lot of experience that a lot of us have had, whether it be hurricanes that we have been through, tornadoes, various natural disasters that a lot of us has experienced, even just watching the movies that they've been putting out. Everything that they put out is not only for entertainment, but they're actually warning you subtly in many different ways. Now, let's look at something here that's very interesting. Tonight's class should stir up thoughts and bring uneasiness to everyone. The question is why? We are living in an age where man has put his hands on everything, like Rebbe was just saying, and everyone has become dependent on those things man has created. Is that true, Mishpachah?
Very much so.
Are we so dependent that we make ourselves so vulnerable that we can't do without a lot of the things? Think about it. Let's look at this one little video here real quick, and we're going to have a discussion. We're going to talk about it. I want to hear some things. So let's look at video number 2 here. I played this one before. This is from that movie, Leave the World Behind.
I have no idea what I am supposed to do right now. I can barely do anything without my cell phone and my GPS. I am a useless man. I am a useless man.
So again, not having your cell phone, not having the things that you're used to. Can you function? That's the question. When the power goes down. because when you look at it overall and you see how one thing leads to the next, it just baffles you of how dependent that we all are on these systems.
This right here, this
Yep.
this right here, this the cell phone has most of your pictures in there, family pictures. You got all your information, your banking. You've got pretty much everything about you, all your connects is right in this cell phone. And just imagine that there's no power, so you can't charge it, right? Or the cell system is down that you can't even use it. You're basically, in a bad state at that time, right? It's because right now, even cash itself is people are using their phones to do transactions for cash, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, tonight we're not going to do a lot of reading in the scripture or the Bible itself. We're going to pull out a couple things here and there, but I want to have some dialogue and make our brains think about what's happening and what's coming. Okay. The question we should ask when we're comparing man-made versus God-made is whose creation would last longer? That's the question I want to ask. Because a lot of times we believe in the things man has made, not realizing that we shouldn't put our trust in the things man has made, because those things break down. They're not meant to last forever. So can we compare something that man has made to what Elohim has made and see what lasts longer? That's the question. Genesis 1, verses 16, and then verse 18, the last part.
It reads, and Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. Verses 18, the last part. And Elohim saw that it was good.
Now, I wanted to highlight the part where he saw that it was good, meaning that he put a stamp of approval on it. There's no defectiveness to it. And to this day, the question is the sun still shining in the day? Put a 1 if we still see the sun, or if that's an illusion, or put a 2 if the sun does not shine. So the sun is still shining. All right, Mr. Prakar, put a 1. If does the moon come out at night and do her business that she's supposed to do? Put a 1 if she does, put a 2 if she does not. So I'm just making you see that the Most High, when he put his work into practice and make things come to life, that they still exist. Compared to what man has done, we can't say the same thing. So what has man made that is still in existence and functioning as it was designed to be? Can anyone in the chat answer that? Some people may say a pyramid, but the pyramid is not functionable. You open that thing, it's going to crumble. A lot of those things don't last. Think about anything. No, a car wouldn't work forever. It breaks down. You'll have to keep doing a lot of maintenance. I'm talking about you make something, you don't have to touch it again. There's nothing. Everything needs maintenance to it. But what the Most High has made doesn't need any maintenance. It grows as far as not breaking down. I mean, we need sleep. He made the human body. We need to sleep. We need to eat our food.
It regenerates, basically.
Regenerate, right. But as far as maintenance in the sense of it's not going to work, everything the Most High has created still from the beginning still is in existence.
Mm-hmm.
Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 14.
I know that whatsoever Elohim doeth, it shall be forever.
Shall be forever.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And Elohim doeth it that men should fear before him.
Hallelujah. Now let's look at Ecclesiastes. We're going to look at Ecclesiastes chapter 1. And just a little reading here to get a little context and understand man versus Elohim. Okay. Start from verses 2.
Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What profit hath a man of all his labor, which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever.
See, so the Most High's existence of things that he hath created continues. Go ahead.
The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to its place where he arose.
So you can depend on the sun. But can we depend on technology that man has made that the lights is going to stay on forever, that we're going to have a working, functioning system forever? No. Continue.
The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again.
And that's what we see all the time. Everything continues as it was created. Go ahead.
All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing.
And we keep building these inventions, creating these systems, trying to be like the Most High. Verse 9.
The thing that has been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which was done before us.
So everything that you think that is coming up as new technology is old technology. Verse 11 for the last.
There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after.
So man-made things, Mishpachah, will not last forever. This is what I'm trying to show you, that the things that the Most High has established will last forever, but the things that man have created will not last. Okay? If the other nations are telling you that the days ahead are going to be grueling and they are preparing their families, question is, why aren't we? If our prophecies tell us to be prepared for very troubling times, then why aren't we preparing ourselves as instructed to do so? These are questions that we have to ask ourselves. Now, there was a show that came out years ago called Doomsday Preppers. How many of you guys remember that?
I do.
I think they changed their names now to something else. I can't remember what it is, but it's no longer called Doomsday Preppers. It's called something else because people are taking them as, conspiracy nuts and some type of a cult that they're calling the people. But these are people who build bunkers, they store up food, they teach their families how to protect themselves, how to hunt, fish, those kind of things. And they prepare themselves for nuclear fallout. They have arms and weapons and different things like that. But people call them crazy because they're the ones preparing for something to happen. And the question is, what are we doing if they're doing that?
And they don't have much trust in their own government, as you can clearly see. Instability, when President Trump got that sniper hit him in the air, or that person who acted as a sniper hit him in the air, the markets were kind of nervous about a lot of stuff, and the world was watching. Now the focus is turned to Biden because we can see that he's not capable. I mean, we have been seeing he's not even capable of doing much. The man is an old man. He already served his time, and he needs to just find some place to go retire and rest his bones. But obviously, he's a puppet right now. And basically, what I'm trying to say, family, when you look at these heads of state, whether the presidents or kings or whatever, the world watches for stability. The money The way money moves and all this stuff is based upon stability. And America has been considered a place of stability. This is why a lot of countries has been using the so-called greenback, right? But that's changing. That's changing a whole lot. And there are a lot of people who are stepping up to the plate, trying to jockey for power right now. And you can see, as Brother O'Shea mentioned earlier, even in the movies, they give us little clues and hints. And then we are seeing these things unfold in real time. Even in the cartoons, we see these things, right? So, and they say, well, it's a prophecy that we found in The Simpsons, a prophecy. And so, no, it's not a prophecy. Ashkenazim and them, they have a script. They're following the script. They just put the thing out way ahead, and they're working the thing out. The question, as Brother O'Shea asked, and I'll repeat it again, if the other nations are telling you that the days ahead are going to be grueling, and they are preparing their families, why aren't we? I saw recently, I think it was a few weeks ago, even Dr. Phil had some people on, preppers and stuff like that. And his wife was in the audience, and his wife, they made mention about his wife being trained up in certain things, right? So, brothers and sisters, we have to keep our eyes open and be prepared.
Amen for that.
When we get comfortable with our living situations, the Most High allows things to happen in order to keep you sharp and prepared. Read a definition of comfort for me, Rebbe.
The definition for the word comfort: a state of physical ease and freedom from pain or constraint.
And that's where a lot of our people love to be. They want to be on the couch, soft pillows,
spa,
perfect temperature with the air condition set at 70 or 65. To have a cold drink in their hand, eating some popcorn, as you see the brother here sitting on the couch, and just relaxing, enjoying life. And at times, that's good. That's needed. But at times, we have to get off the couch. We have to get out there and sweat, because it says, by the sweat of your brow, you shall eat, right? And we have to put that work in. And a lot of times we don't understand that the Most High put things in place for us to keep our skills sharp. Let's look at an example. Judges chapter 3, verses 1 and verse 2.
Now these are the nations which you all left, to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel had not known all the wars of Canaan. Verses 2. Only that the generation of the children of Israel might know, to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof.
See, so everything happens for a reason. So in this instance here, the Most High is telling you that he put Israel in a situation that they have to learn how to defend and fight for themselves. Because if they sit and get comfortable, other nations are going to rise up and take what they have worked so hard for. And like it says, the last part says, at least such as before knew nothing thereof. Because the generations come up and they haven't experienced life. They haven't experienced certain things, disasters, hardship, famine, earthquakes, whatever disasters that are out there. They haven't experienced those things. And everything is given to them. Soft, Wi-Fi, comfortable. Things that we never had growing up. And then when you look back, it's like, wow, the days you just can't really look at. So the Most High is telling you he's going to put things in our lives to keep us sharp, keep us prepared, because the days that are coming, we have to be ready. The question is, are you ready when the lights go out? So tonight's class is not, to basically if, but when it happens. It's not about if it might happen, but when it's going to happen. And yes, family, the lights will go out at some point and there will be chaos. Do you believe me? Put a 1. If you don't believe me, put a 2. Let's see who in the chat. While you do that, I'm going to pull up this other video. Fair use, fair use.
Global IT outage that occurred today, July 19th, 2024, was allegedly caused by a misconfigured update from Microsoft. The issue has been reported to originated from a change in the configuration of the Microsoft Wide Area Network, W1 router, which led to incorrect routing of network traffic. This caused disruptions across multiple Microsoft 365 services, including Outlook, Teams, OneDrive for Business, Exchange Online, and SharePoint. In addition to the W1 router issue, there was a reported secondary problem linked to the security software CrowdStrike's Falcon sensor, which contributed to blue screen of death, BSOD errors on many Windows devices. This compounded the impact of the outage, affecting various sectors globally, such as airlines, banks, and emergency services. Airport.
Now I'm gonna pause it a minute because and we're gonna talk about it some more. But when you pick up your cell phone, like this here, and let's say the power goes out, and your phone is connected to a lot of different things. You have the apps that's in your phones. Now, how many of you all use your phone to transfer money back and forth? Let's see what's in the chat. Do you use your phones to transfer money back and forth between your bank, between the different platforms, Cash App and Venmo and PayPal, and all these different things. Now, let's say you go there and the app is not working, and you was in the middle of buying some groceries. How are you going to buy groceries? Or you're at the gas station trying to get gas. How are you going to do that? When it doesn't work? You go to your bank, the bank is closed because there's no power. So these are things just to make you think. What if you were traveling, like some of these people were traveling today, and you just see all of the signs go delay, 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 all the way up.
You know what it's like to have a lot of people sit in the airport because they can't travel. The Gentiles are accustomed to sleeping all on the floors with their dogs or whatever the case may be. Where are you going to sleep? You know, our shekels are tight. I mean, they're going to run to the closest hotel or whatever it is and you know, eat up all those rooms and stuff. And it's not the same for us as a people. You know, our money's always tight. So do we stay just standing there against the wall, looking at a bunch of people breathing in their carbon?
Just breathing their air, huh?
Yeah.
Airports experienced a global ground stop, and emergency services like 911 operators in the U.S. faced disruptions.
So you try to make a call, 911, what's the emergency? Or you hear nothing. No one there to help you.
Microsoft responded by implementing mitigation measures, including redirecting traffic and repairing Azure servers. They have been updating users through their service health channels and social media. CrowdStrike also acknowledged the issue and is working on a fix for the Falcon sensor problem. This incident highlights the interconnectedness of global IT infrastructure and the significant consequences of a single misconfiguration, underscoring the need for robust and thoroughly tested updates and configurations in critical systems.
Hey, Brother Shay.
Yes.
Did you have some insight about this thing this morning? Because, you know, I sent out the email to the Mishpachah of the class Blackout, and then early this morning, we had these things happening. I'm like, okay, are you in touch with the White House or something? Have you got a back channel?
No, I just, you know, the Spirit just tell me we need to talk about this, and I just went right into it and start doing my research and putting it together. But there's more to come. Let's just put it that way. I think today was just because what they do is they do a little test here and there before they actually roll out the big, you know, the big thing or the big bang, to see who's paying attention and who's doing what when you really look at it. No one, Mishpachah, believed the world could shut down, but it did in 2020. Is that true? Yep. when country by country began to close their borders and the globe was on a lockdown. Now, you ask somebody, where were you when they went on the air and says, okay, we're going to have all airlines paused, schools are closed, your work is now closed. Matter of fact, stay home. 6 feet distancing, the masks in full effect. Do y'all remember that? That seemed like it was a long, long time ago, huh? But it was just 2 years ago. Didn't it just say Biden caught?
Yeah. That stuff is still around, and it may be making a comeback. Fauci flu might be making a comeback, so we got to be prepared. Just be careful out there when you go out.
So when we talk about a blackout coming, don't think that it's false or it won't happen, because people thought the world couldn't be locked down, and the world was locked down like this. You couldn't travel. Some people were trapped on cruise ships. They couldn't come in for months. They were stuck in certain places just because of
Fauci,
that stuff. And when we look at this right here, this is an illustration of what they did. If you want to read some things here for me, Rebbe.
Our pandemic year, the Fauci 19 timeline. On March 11th, the WHO declared the vid a pandemic. Here's a look back at the year in disruption.
A year in disruption.
In disruption. A mysterious new illness. Images appear of the Wuhan in lockdown. This is back in January 2020. And it says the virus spreads, cases multiply. That's in March. It says the Bay Area is first in the United States to announce shelter-in-place orders. Hospitals become overwhelmed as cases grow. There is a nationwide shortage of PPE.
Personal protective equipment. Nationwide shortage.
The world shuts down. This is in March, between March and April. Countries seal borders, sports teams cancel seasons, schools close, and employees go home. People start wearing masks and social distancing.
Remember, this was just 4 years ago.
It's 4 years already?
4 years ago. We in 2024. That time fly fast, right? All right.
Yeah.
And I like to say, this is just a test. This is only a test. So when is the real thing coming? That's the question. Okay, you don't have to read no more. I just was.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good on that. But the last part, it says 2021 begins the race to vaccinate. Cases and deaths begin to fall, but the variant are still a threat. That's what they say to you. And I like how they did this little illustration with this needle and put the chart on there. On March 11, 2020, the WHO, I find it very interesting that they say WHO. That's like the owl, right? The owl that sees things in the dark. Declared the disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 a pandemic. And a little chart over here shows you where it started, then the globe lockdown itself. Work style change. So instead of going to work now you're staying home. Lifestyle change. Instead of having people around you, now everything's virtual. The decline in economy, transportation, and pollution. A lot of things still are closed. A lot of businesses that used to be open aren't open no more.
That's right.
A lot of places that used to go, things that used to do, those things are done. And to show you, everything points to what? Agenda what? 2030. That's very interesting that they put this like this. I didn't put this chart together, Mr. Picard. This is what they have on the websites. So they're telling you that everything is going towards what they have planned.
The pandemic, the lockdown, then human society changes. It says work style changes, lifestyle changes, decline in economy, transport, and pollution, which will give you positive stuff like immediate during lockdown, the persistent after lockdowns effects of SDG achievements, which is all the little planning that they have with the housing and economy and things of that nature. So,
Yep. And this, like I said, this is what they are planning for us. Okay. So let's just give 3 simple scenarios that can cause this situation to happen. Natural disasters, that's one scenario, right? And over here you can see earthquake, floods, fires, volcanic tornadoes, mudslides, winter storms, typhoons, drought. There's so many different ways that a natural disaster can cause a major blackout. EMP, electromagnetic pulse. If you never heard of that, that's a device that causes a large pulse, a burst of energy that knocks out electrical devices. And it actually fries the device so it is no good no more. And there are countries, companies, and peoples that have a lot of these different various types of EMPs. They come as small as a watch, and they can go as big as a nuclear missile. And I'll show you some pictures here too.
You know what's funny about that? There was a front page in the Drudge Report yesterday, probably earlier today, where it mentions about, I guess, a general from Russia was saying that World War III is going to start in space. And he was talking about the satellites and different things of that nature. But if they had to launch a nuke up in space somewhere, that's going to pretty much fry. That will release this, give us the EMP effect that you just mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see the device here shapes like an eyeball. It's interesting. They know exactly what they're doing. And then the last one is terrorist attack. Like after 9/11, they call everyone a terrorist because there is no direct person that you can point to. That means the door is open to go after anyone at any time. So natural disasters, we see hurricanes. I have been through 9 hurricanes myself.
You count you count them all? 9, you said?
Yeah, I mean the ones that cause death to people. Tornadoes, I've been through a lot of those myself. Earthquakes, for some reason, when I was living on the West Coast, it had several earthquakes, but it was small. The good thing is I was driving, so I never felt it. But when I stopped, people says, "Did you feel that?" I was like, "No, I didn't even want to feel it." But it shook buildings. People were afraid. It knocked out power lines and certain things. But that was on a small scale. But there are places that experience earthquake on major scales. And that's something very scary that no one should want to experience.
Right.
Now, is anyone in the chat that have experienced an earthquake?
Where the ground opened up and you had to run and jump over, like in the movies, jump over the the crack.
You know what, Rebbe? Soon I'm gonna want to open up the chat to the mic to hear some of our brothers and sisters on some of these experiences that they have. So let's see if we can get a few of them.
You want to do it now?
Yeah, just real quick.
Okay, so if anyone want to say, give a little testimony about the ground almost swallowed them up, just raise your hand and I'll bring you over. Okay, so we got, where is it? Let's get Sister Angela. All right. Shalom, sister. You want to unmute your mic as you're all coming in?
Shalom, shalom, Rebbe, shalom, Brother O'Shea and Elder, and everyone in the chat. So I didn't experience an earthquake, but I did drive through a tornado. Very frightening. I was on the highway here in Canada, and I could see the tornado off in the distance, but people don't realize how long the tail of that tornado is. I was driving on the highway, and I could see like some cloud ahead of me. When I drove into that, it was pitch black. you couldn't see anything, even the cars ahead of you, until you got right on their bumpers.
Mm.
And there was no sound. It was the scariest thing. And the most I just said, keep driving. So I kept driving, maneuvering around cars until I drove out of it. And I'm like, wow. And you couldn't hear even your tires on the road.
No.
It was very scary.
How long ago was this, sis?
That was back in the early 2000s.
Mm.
And it did touch down in what's called Vaughan, Ontario, and
Okay.
ripped off the roof on some of the houses and things like that. But that was the scariest thing I ever experienced. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't want to ever go through that again. I don't know how people live in Tornado Alley and not move.
Well, isn't tornadoes in Canada like a rarity? Like you never hear about stuff like that.
Yes, it is rare. But they did have like a warning out, but not in the area I was at. But it came down into the area where I was, or near the area I was at the time when I was driving. And I thought, oh my goodness, when I was driving, I was like, oh my goodness, I got to get out of this, because I'm thinking there's transport trucks behind me. If I can't even see the cars ahead of me, somebody's going to get hurt.
Wow.
It was very scary.
Yeah. Tornadoes is one of the things that I've also experienced too, and it's not a pretty sight. I've had a house that was destroyed in it when I was in Alabama. I've seen that myself. What about volcanoes? I know some of our Mishpachah may live in a place where there's volcanoes, wildfires, floods, even down to the blizzards, which is considered a natural disaster based upon the season. So, Mishpachah, these are some things that can cause a blackout. Okay, let's move on. EMP, electromagnetic pulse, can happen accidentally, like they would say, or intentionally. Now, look at this here. The first one is on a Humvee, and this is one that the military has that they can drive. They can point it towards an area, hit that burst, and it would shut down a city. There's another one right here that's on the back of a truck, and this other one is on a ship that they can send that missile. That one on the ship is a missile that goes up into the air, and it bursts right over the city or the area that they want to shut down, and then there's no power. So everything that is on is fried. And for that period of time till they can get everything replaced, then it would work. Now, there was a TV show called Revolution. It's hard to find that TV show. They took it off air, and you have to actually pay for it just to get it. And what happened is there was a virus that they released in the air. It's like a little microbe that they released in the air that caused the whole globe to shut down. I don't know if anyone has seen that show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty good show. It's a series.
Yeah, but everything went back to the way it used to be, because we know our scripture talks about the Most High is going to turn the tanks and stuff into what? Plowshares and tools, pruning hooks. And that's what they had to go back to. Swords and knives and shovels and baseball bats and stuff. There was no guns because the ammunition ran out after a while. It was rare to get ammunition. And you didn't have anything electrical. So bow and arrow and all kinds of things came back into play. And that happened for a while. So if they're telling you this in the movies, what do you think, Mishpachah? Okay. We have a hand raised.
Yeah, it's the right. Shalom, sis, if you want to unmute yourself.
Shalom, family. Shalom.
Shalom, my sister. How are you?
I'm doing well. How is everyone doing tonight?
Doing well, sis. We're doing well.
Okay. So I have experienced like 2 really serious earthquakes when I was back in Jamaica. One, I was inside my house, and I just realized that everything was shaking. The wall was moving, everything. I was freaking out. It was at night also. And you didn't know if you want to run outside or you want to stay inside. And it was really very scary. And another day, I think I was on my way to either from prayer meeting or going to prayer meeting back then. And I was standing on the curb, and all of a sudden I was stumbling. And I couldn't figure, because at first I didn't know what it was. I didn't remember about earthquakes. I was like, what's going on here? Until people start running around and saying, it's an earthquake, it's an earthquake. Man, that was really something. It didn't last very long, but those things are very scary. So,
Yes, it
yeah,
is very scary because you don't know where to go.
exactly.
If you turn to the left, if you're going to fall in a hole, or if you turn to the right, something's going to fall on you that was falling down. Or if you step backwards, you just don't know.
You just kind of freeze in the moment and just trying to figure out what to do, So thank God that he didn't, take me in any of those. I'm still here praising him.
The Bible says that the earth is going to be rolling through it like a drunkard, moving back and forth like a drunkard. And
Yep.
the Caribbean islands are starting to feel a lot of this stuff. I've seen reports years ago about snow falling on certain islands, which is strange. Places that never had snow was getting snowflakes. Earthquakes were happening. The sister just talked about Canada having tornadoes. I never heard of tornadoes, and it was always Kansas or Oklahoma.
Yeah, certain places.
Yeah, the prairie states that you would find these things happening, but now it's happening everywhere, even up in New England. Even New England. I remember when I lived in Boston, there were earthquakes that we experienced over there, and they never had that kind of stuff before. So things have definitely changed a whole lot.
Yep.
Yes, we're living in the end. So like you guys are just helping us to get ready. We just have to take heed and prepare because we're definitely living in the end.
And sis, people will count you as a fool just for even thinking along those lines, because when you start saying, hey, you need to get ready, be ready, they're gonna laugh at you. I mean,
My family laughs at me. They think I'm paranoid. They think I'm silly, but that's okay.
They're gonna be running to you, sister, when all hell breaks loose. They can come to your house knocking.
Hey, you know what's funny, Mishpaka? I want to share something. I got some new subscribers, right? So I went to check to see who's who. This was like this evening. So I saw this particular person who was a subscriber has a decent amount of subscribers herself. So when I clicked on her channel, it's shameful stuff. She herself is going to pride festivals down in Florida. If basically, I'll put it this way: Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm thinking to myself, this person subscribed to a channel or a platform that is dealing with against slackness, against the kingdom of Satan. This platform is to wake our people up. Why would someone who normally know what this is all about would subscribe to this channel, and on their channel they have all them? They're not showing what's going on in the world. They're participating in those things that are going around the world. It's crazy.
Some of them are agents. Terrorist attack. Terrorist attack can happen before a war, during a war, or after a war. This can be foreign or domestic. So, according to the definition of what they say, anything can be a terrorist attack. So think about that, where people are blowing up stuff, mass shootings, for whatever reasons that they may be putting or pushing. Because again, I don't know what other country out there that allows people to bear arms besides America. What other country does that? Because I know in Europe, you can't walk around with stuff. Even
Some places,
it stays home.
Some places, even like in Russia, if you are living out in the rural areas, they would allow you to have a firearm because you're a hunter or you're a farmer and you got to protect your, things along those lines. There are places in even in South America. I mean, there are places that would allow you to have a firearm just because of where you're located, like in rural areas. But when you live like among a larger population, that's a whole different.
Now, I'm mentioning that because they're trying to take away the ability to bear arms. And that's another topic to go into, but that's all part of the plan that they're doing so they can have that control back again. So you'll see sometimes these mass shootings that are designed, and you ask the right questions like, who's this person? This person had a great life. Well, why are they killing these people for? Or what was the purpose of this person? And who's this dude who's supposed to be the lone gun sniper or whatever it is? And you ask the questions, nothing adds up. So there's always a purpose behind it. Now let's look at this video here, just to kind of bring some things together.
And people can 3D print stuff too, you know?
Yes. Fair use, and this is concerning the natural disasters, the EMP, or the terrorist attacks.
Did we get on that? I had one.
The world didn't really know how bad it was for a couple of days, really.
When it came to the city of New Orleans, it wasn't the storm damage that was the problem. It was the flooding that came afterwards. That didn't really start happening until after the hurricane had moved through. The levees couldn't be repaired in time, and the city started to flood. Instead of streets, you saw canals. It made it really, really difficult to get assistance in those first few days. People were getting desperate.
Everyone thought I was Red Cross. Everyone. I was like, you haven't seen any emergency personnel yet?
Now, when I look at these videos, I kind of think and put myself in a situation, what would I do? Would I sit around, or would I try my best to make the situation better, livable? Let's say the first video with the 9/11 that we saw. Say you were in that area and the buildings start coming down, what would you do? Or with the hurricane here that happened with Katrina, and like many other hurricanes that just happened. We just had one when last week, Beryl?
Yeah.
That just happened. And there's more to come because right now we're in hurricane season. Thank you. What do? Do you sit down and wait for the government to help you, or do you get up and make things happen?
Help yourself.
These are questions that you have to ask, because not everybody is a doer. Some people don't know how to do anything, and they would sit there and wait for somebody to come and help them. They will sit there, and you would like, aren't you going to do anything? I don't know what to do.
They get paralysis of the mind. Well, first, if it's a New Orleans, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, New Orleans scenario, I would leave that city altogether. That's a soup bowl, right? I would leave that place altogether because why would I want to live in a place that constantly has this thing hanging over me? You know, it's protected with man-made levees, right? And the thing is below sea level. All it takes is the right storm to come through, and it'll break through those levees. I don't care what the Army Corps of Engineers can do, what men think they can do. When something is going to happen, it's going to happen. Now, if you go slide back, you can see the rooftops. People were on the rooftop. That's how high the water was.
Yeah.
Just slide back some more. Right there. Look at that. If you pull it some more, zoom out some more, you can see that's water all around. The only solid, look at that. That's all rooftop.
Yeah.
I would build a raft. I would tie some stuff together, make a raft, and I'll be out.
Out of there.
But remember, that's Gator City.
That's what I'm saying.
That's Gator and Snake City.
You go into survival mode, creative mode. You start building stuff. You know, like in the movie Titanic, when the Titanic was going on, the band was playing.
Yeah, it was all romantic.
Yeah,
and that's actually the mindset of a lot of our people.
Yeah,
especially our women.
You know,
especially our women. They will sit around and still want to be in that romantic mode. You know, like, where can we get some roses? We don't want to hear about no roses. We need to get out of this. We need to do something now.
For our life.
You know what I mean? We need to know how to survive in these situations. You know, no, I need to get some wipes. I need this. You don't need any of that stuff. You think Abraham and them had wipes? Huh? Come on now.
I mean, they may have had some kind of a special something.
No, I mean, all of these conveniences, man, and the little shekels you got that you try to piece together to make something happen, you're going to be wasting your money running around to every dollar store to find wipes and all these little conveniences. Why? Come on now.
First few days, people were getting desperate.
Everyone thought I was Red Cross. Everyone. I was like, you haven't seen any emergency personnel yet? You know, it's been 24 hours at this point. They're like, oh no, we see the helicopters fly overhead. But
there's a lot of confusion over.
Can you go back a second, Brother Shea? With the guys in the water holding hands and walking. Look at that. Stop right there. Now, another issue that we have to think about is our diet. Our diet. Do you have the physical strength to move, or do you need to have somebody hold your hand like this?
If you're elderly or disabled or something, that's different.
That's different, but a lot of times what we do in our early years result what's going to happen in our later years. If you don't take care of yourself now, keep yourself fit now, watch what you eat now, you're going to find yourself not being able to do anything when the time comes. We're not talking about you being Superman and all that stuff. That's ridiculous. But you should have enough strength in your body to be able to make some moves.
Yeah.
But a lot of our people sit by because they expect somebody's going to always be there to help them.
Well, a lot of times you think that they have time. Time is your friend. That you have enough time to make things happen. And again, these situations happen unaware. Always expect the unexpected. You don't know what's going to happen.
oh, we see the helicopters fly overhead, but
there's a lot of confusion over who was in charge of the rescue operations, where these people would go.
Look at that. Stop. Go back. Was that a whale that we saw? Go back.
That's an elephant, man.
Come on, Elder.
This is the problem right there. Okay, we have to change this thing. That's the truth. We're not trying to. Shame is something that is a very powerful and useful tool. The Most High put it there to get us in the right frame of mind. We got to start working on our habits, because it's going to kill us, right? And I'm speaking out of love. Whether people feel upset, and I'm done with this brother. He's insult. I don't know who's who, right? I can't see your scale. I don't know what you're pushing. Okay, so you know what you're dealing with, and you don't want to be in that kind of state right there, because in that condition you can't help anyone, not even your own self.
Mm-hmm. You have to be able to maneuver around situations, and if you can't be able to move, then something is wrong.
Go if they did get picked up by a helicopter.
Yeah, Contessa, good evening from a frigid Dallas. And the concern right now are these rolling outages, these periodic blackouts that have been.
I remember when they did the cloud seeding in Texas. What was this, 2 years ago? Something like that? When they had the blizzard, this is what this is about here.
Going into effect since early this morning. That leaves up to 2 million Texans without guaranteed warmth for what looks to be an incredibly frigid night ahead. As you mentioned, the entire state for for the first time in weather history under that winter storm warning. We also had portions in West Texas that were under a blizzard warning.
And they showed the pictures where the rain came in, it was flood, that broke through the ceiling, then it froze. You see the icicles on the fan blades. They saw the icicles on the inside of the house where people were living. Now imagine that. That's just this one little incident that they were experimenting on. Because again, this is the cloud seeding that they're doing. They create these clouds that can bring rain. And for some reason, it had a blizzard in the summer.
That's crazy. Real quick, Brother Shea, Stamavis, I do understand we some of our people do have issues with their bodies, which they can't change. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about habits, your behavior. We're not talking about things that you cannot change. If you're born a certain way or certain things happen to you, accidents happen, that's totally different. But we're talking about things that you have control of. That's what we're dealing with. Things that you have control of, but the person don't care enough to say, I'm done with this. I need to change my habits. The way that we eat, the way that we sleep, the way that we dress, all these things are habits. That's what I'm talking about.
Reported early this morning, 7 degrees in parts of Dallas.
Now, anybody in Texas that's here in the chat, do you remember experiencing this? If you want to say anything, just raise your hand.
And other parts of the state. And right now, we're looking at an evening that could get even colder, breaking historic temperature records that have been in place now for decades. We did have a chance to speak to individuals doing their best to stay warm. But one very important element to remember when we're covering this story is that unlike those northern states, structures are not built to withstand these temperatures here, nor are people as prepared to deal with them when they arrived in.
So that tells you when you're building your homes in the future, build it where it can withstand every weather scenario that comes, whether it's cold or hot or wet or dry. Try to keep those things in mind. That way you're prepared a little bit, because like the guy just said here, the homes that are in this area are not designed to go up like the homes are in New York City or something like that, up north in Canada and stuff like that. They're not designed to have that type of cold. So when we're building our Shalom homes, Mishpachah, think of those things.
Force with this massive winter
this morning, heartbreak, confusion, and lack of communication. Days after massive wildfires destroyed the heart of western Maui, the desperate search for loved ones, with hundreds still unaccounted for. This stunning drone video showing rows of torched vehicles, now twisted husks, frozen in time.
So many people have died. My friends lost their grandparents in the fires. People are being found in their cars.
In Lahaina, the town most devastated by the wildfire, a point of no return. Residents like Leslie Clark left with nothing.
The whole thing is gone.
So we see that at any time a disaster can happen. And I just want to put the picture in your mind that it should bother us enough for us to make moves and be prepared. Don't be lazy. Don't expect the government is going to come and save you. You have to get up and make those moves. And the Most High, what he does is when you start to make the moves, that's when he's going to start to help you make those moves. But he's not going to help you if you just sit around and say, well, I'm going to wait for this to happen first. And that's the problem with a lot of our people. There are a lot of our brothers and sisters right now that are making moves, that are out there trying to make a difference in the way they live, to have that little shalom, to get out of the system, to separate themselves, to serve the Most High, to build houses, plant gardens, have
It takes sacrifice.
Yes, it takes sacrifice.
Great sacrifices to get that. And you know, our people, the greatest concern I believe that we need to focus on is those who live in the cities. They don't understand how serious it is when things are shut down for a long period of time. Texas experienced that thing multiple times. You just showed the one with the snow thing, right? The ice. They had the thing with the hurricane. And to this very day, they're still talking about the grid in Texas is not the best. And Texas is supposed to be an oil-rich state. And yet, they don't have a proper grid. And the people of the world is pushing this electric ecosystem with the cars all electric. How are you going to be able to charge up everything? Your house is electric, all the cars are electric. Where are you going to find the resources to power all these vehicles? How's that going to happen?
Yep, that's the point. When everything is connected to the network or the grid, and the bug or the hacker comes in, or something happens where the lights go out, what's going to happen? See, when we talk about a blackout, we're speaking about a monopoly of things happening that can cause a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
And now this picture to the left here is what happened this morning. Airports, banks, media companies, hospitals, hotels, 911 system, they were all impacted globally.
How many wheelchairs do you think that they have in the airport to accommodate people who are standing there for hours? What about the little nagging children that says they want to go to the bathroom, but you can't move because you got to wait in line? That's a terrible situation. You're hungry. You want to sit down somewhere. You probably was already waiting for layovers for hours, and then all of a sudden this thing happened.
It can be very, very straining on the body. So let's look at some things here, Mishpaka. The power goes out. So some places have backup generators that will kick in, right? You have stores, the phone towers, hospitals, they all have backup generators. But you have to remember, gas is expensive. So after about a week of this, those generators will go down. Banks are closed. Your phones that you have, your cell phones, through the phone companies, because they have a limited time, I think they say roughly between 7 to 14 days is what's given with the batteries that they have. And then even on that, the overload of calls that are coming in can crumble the system. So your phones are not going to be working the way you think it's going to work. There's no internet or Wi-Fi, so you can forget that.
As a matter of
if you never read a map, I'm sorry, you lost. You're going to sit right where you are and just stay where you are.
Brother O'Shea, you know how hard it is to find maps these days? I've gone to gas stations and said, hey, do y'all have any maps? And they're like, we don't carry that anymore. We don't have that anymore. And they showed me some little garbage that, can't help you at all.
When I find one, I grab it. Matter of fact, we found one and we have one one of those big atlases, as we call it, right?
Yeah.
They have all the maps and the roads and all that stuff. If you can get one, Mishpaka, get one. It's very important to have that because you need to learn how to navigate without an electronic device.
Brother Gerald says go to a Love's gas station or Pilot gas station. You'll get those like a truck stop.
Yeah.
Another thing, Brother O'Shea, is that they deliberately put us on the cell phone grid, but the old telephone system was designed that it can operate without electricity.
Yeah.
It actually carries a low power amount of voltage through the telephone line. The old ones.
I wonder who still have a regular home phone.
Does anyone have a regular home phone in the chat? Put a 1 if you do.
I'm talking about a regular home phone where there's a wire that's coming in from the street, and that wire goes into your house, and you have that wire that's coming to your phone. A landline. I know this is what I'm talking about.
All right.
I ain't talking about wireless telephone in your home that you can connect to an app or the Wi-Fi in the house that you can have a phone, because they have those too. Radio is the only means of communication. So think about that while we're talking. The radio stations are going to be the only ones broadcasting on the AM, mostly AM. FM is going to be a little iffy. But if you have a ham radio, and this is something that you should all invest in, CBs and ham radios. If you can get something like that on one of those crank-up radios that you can have, that's something to keep in your stash. Then the grocery stores will become obsolete. They'll start shutting down because of food shortages. We've seen that time after time. Remember, 2020 just happened 4 years ago. And somebody mentioned the one word called toilet paper, and it was a chaos.
Yeah.
Nobody could find toilet paper, alcohol, Lysol, wipes, mask, Clorox, bleach. Any of those things was zero.
Brother Shay, some Israelites need to know how to get 2 wipes out of 1 piece of paper. Some Israelites need to train, go have some practice. 2 wipes out of 1 one sheet of paper.
Keep us in
because, Because I'm telling you, some people will eat up toilet paper in 1 day.
That's right, Sister Jocelyn. Soap and water is never sold out. So some people don't even have to wash properly. You know, back then you had the babies and you had the diapers. You had the cloth ones that you would physically wash and reuse. Today you have the Pampers today. But think about something like that where you have to use soap and water and you have they call it a rag, a washcloth or whatever you want to call it. And every time you use the bathroom, you have to use that and wash it out in soap and bleach and put it back there because there's no toilet paper. But that's just one thing, Mishpachah. We're talking about Walmart closed down, Sam's Club, Costco, Kroger's, Smith's, Publix, whatever grocery stores you have, Fryers, whatever you call them, in the area where you live, the bodegas, the little stop shops, the gas stations, closed because there is no food. What are you going to do? Think about that, okay? Then comes the curfew, because they're not going to stop. They're going to start putting in martial law. The curfew, where a certain time they don't want to catch anyone on the streets. No excuses. Well, I have to, nope. You go in or you be arrested. And because things are hard, you're going to have some people who will try to steal and break into people's homes, businesses. Like you mentioned, Rebbe, siphoning gas in the middle of the night. You hear somebody in there.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is that noise?
Yep.
Somebody going out there and trying to siphon your gas, the little gas that you have. The hospitals are on high alert and overwhelmed. Remember 2020? You couldn't even go in the hospital. Matter of fact, nobody want to go to the hospitals. You get a cut, they say, oh, you got the vid. You get shot, oh, you got the vid. Get in a car accident, you got the vid.
You step out of the social distancing, you got the vid. You wipe your eyes, you got the vid.
Every little thing they want to point and say you had this stuff. So the hospitals were on high alert and overwhelmed. The water companies, the power finally goes down because these companies also have backup generators, but they won't stay on forever. See, because you're thinking in your mind, okay, the power goes out for a couple hours, maybe 24 hours, I'm good. What about a week? What about 2 weeks?
I was just about to say that. How long can you hold out for? Because sometimes you have even members of your family who may be a nurse and will say, hey, I'm not doing this, I'm not taking no jab, and such like. But then they will, after a little while, the pressure will build on them. All of a sudden, they take it.
Yep.
They'll tell you, I'm not going to take it. Some weeks later on, they're taking it. And you're trying to figure out what happened. What happened?
The pressure burst the pipes that were all around them. So the generators go down because they're only prepared for a week's worth. Cars start to run out of gas because, you go in your car and put your AC on for a minute, charge your cell phone. But then there's no gas. What are you going to do? I mean, I'm sorry for those who have electrical cars because that's done. Now, some people may say, I have wind turbines, I have solar panels and batteries, and that may work and keep things cool in the house, keep the lights on, the fans going, but you're just isolated from the rest of the world, which is good. So you can make your little ice if you need ice. You can power some lights or some fan, and be comfortable as best as you can. So that may work. But overall, on a majority, a large scale, 90% of the people don't even have solar power. They depend on the system. Yes, Ima, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Try to get a donkey.
Ima said get a donkey.
Or a horse.
A horse.
Or a bicycle.
Bicycle, okay.
So you have transportation right there.
In other words, a husband. Try to get a husband. A donkey is a husband. Hey, do you mind pulling up Daniel chapter 3? If you don't mind. You have time for that?
Yeah, I got time for that. Daniel.
Okay. Daniel chapter 3. I want to go to verses 12.
Daniel chapter 3, verses 12.
This is dealing with the type of spirit that we're going to need in these last days in dealing with these situations. Because let me tell you this, family, of all the things that you have been learning before you came on this platform and when you came and you learned more, everything that is happening now is being shaped and formed for the mark of the beast system.
Yep.
Everything that we're seeing, it has to happen. Okay, that thing has to happen to transform the world into a
one
what's
world.
the right word? A prison, a world prison, right? So let's read verses 12. It says, "There are certain Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded you. They serve not your gods." In other words, they're not following what the state is putting out, right? Nor worship the golden image which you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not you serve my gods? Are you not complying with my laws, right? Nor worship the golden image which I have set up," right? Now let's skip down a little bit, right? And let's read from verse 16. I'll read 16. Let's get it there. So anyway, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer you in this matter," right? "If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not," see, that's the thing that you got to underline. "If not, be it known unto you, O king, that we will not serve your gods, nor worship the golden image which you have set up," right? So we know the rest of the story. It says how they heated up the thing to make them an example. But the Bible does not tell us what the other Israelites did. And I'm sure the other Israelites complied with the whole thing. Because the Bible doesn't say, and all Jews did not comply. It says these Jews did not comply.
That's right.
Right? So this is important. The question is, are we going to be the few who will be like, my body is just nothing. This is just rags. I'm going to have a new body anyway, so I don't care. It's going to be painful. I mean, who said that having this walk or going this way is ever going to be easy? It's always a struggle. The Shalom life is not easy. It's a struggle. You got to try to find shekels to get yourself away from the system so you can have a life that's pleasing to the Most High. The point that you have to remember, brothers and sisters, what these three men displayed here is who they serve. They dedicated their lives to serving the Most High, regardless of any type of situation or the outcome. And if we don't have our hearts set like that, right, we're going to find ourselves in big trouble, because we're going to lose our this body, and our soul will be cast into hell at the same time too, when the time comes. Because of Revelations chapter 13 outlines that all, great and small, is going to have to bow. And everything right now is moving in that direction quickly. You got the banking system, the CBDC or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Central banking system, right? Those countries right now are experimenting in having this thing to be implemented pretty soon. And we have already seen what Chris Kringle, what's his name? Chris Kringle, right? What he's pushing. And these people are not afraid to tell you exactly what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Mishpachah, are you going to be the few that's going to be ready? Because remember, there were 10, but only 5. So that's half of it, the few. Let's look at this video here, because when the cars don't start, when the curfew is in effect, and there's no food or water and things become tight, what are you going to do? Let's look at this video again. Fair use, fair use.
Every so often, some loud noise wakes you up from your sleep. A truck backfiring on the street outside, a baby crying, a cat knocking something off a shelf. But it's a very different thing altogether to be awoken by silence. Your unconscious mind telling you that the sounds you should be hearing are gone. It only takes a groggy minute to piece it together.
Because if you're a light sleeper, anything can wake you. The minute the fan stops spinning, you're up. You're like, wait a minute, it's too quiet, or the air stopped blowing, or something noise that you have in the background stops. That gets your attention. That's what he's saying here. The power goes off.
The refrigerator's silent. No air is flowing through the heating register. The ceiling fan above your head is slowly coming to a stop. The power's out. You check your phone, it's 4 a.m. Nothing you can really do but go back to sleep and hope they get it fixed by daylight. We're in the midst of a deep dive series on wide-scale outages to the power grid, and the mismatch between supply and demand, like what happened in Texas, is only one of the many reasons that could cause a major blackout. You wake up 3 hours later, cold, sunlight peeking in through your bedroom window. The power's still off. You grab your cell phone to try and figure out what's going on. It has a full battery from charging overnight, and you have a strong signal too. You try to call a friend, but the call won't go through. You try a few more times, but still nothing more than a friendly voice saying, all circuits are busy. Since you're trying to make a personal call and you aren't enrolled in the Telecommunications Service Priority Program, you're not getting through. Just then, an emergency alert appears on your screen. It says that there's a power grid failure and to prepare for an extended outage. The reality of the situation is just starting to set in. Since most people have a cell phone, wireless emergency alerts have become an important addition to the emergency alert system that connects various levels of government to TV, radio, satellite, and telephone companies to disseminate public warnings and alerts. Jump ahead a couple of days. Your circumstances start to dictate your experiences heavily. Even an outage of this length can completely upend your life if you, for example, depend on medication that must be refrigerated, or electrically powered medical equipment like a ventilator or dialysis machine. But for many, a blackout on the order of a day or two is still kind of fun.
Yeah, so I mean, for 1 day or two, it's okay to have a little blackout, because you get together, family get together, play board games, get the candlelight going. Everyone is there. But then after a while, what happens?
a diversion from the humdrum of everyday life. Maybe you've scrounged together a few meals from what's remaining in your pantry, enjoyed some candlelit conversations with neighbors, seen more stars in the night sky than you ever have in your life. Flash forward to a week after the start of the blackout, and any fun from the change of pace is long gone. You still keep your cell phone battery charged from your car, but you rarely get a signal, and phone calls almost never connect. Plus, your car is almost out of gasoline, and the fuel at filling stations has long been sent to backup generators at critical facilities. You are almost certainly running low on food and water after a week, even if you've been able to share or barter with neighbors or...
I remember watching a show one time, and the guys were stuck in traffic. It was a blizzard, and they had nowhere to go, and they was hungry. So they were shuffling through the car to see what they can find. They found some ketchup packets and some mustard packets, and it was sucking on it just to try to get some food because they was hungry. So you might have to do that, Miss Picard. You might have to get whatever's left.
Visit one of the rare stores that was willing to open their doors and accept cash. By now, only the most prioritized facilities like hospitals and radio stations, plus those with solar or wind charging systems, still have a functioning backup power supply. Everything else is just dead.
Everything else is just dead.
Natural disasters and bad weather regularly create localized outages, but thankfully, true wide-scale blackouts have been relatively few and far between. That doesn't mean they aren't possible, though, so it's wise to be prepared. In general, preparedness is one of the most important roles of government, and at least in the US, there's a lot we get right about being ready for the worst. That said, it makes sense for people to have some personal preparations for long-duration power outages too, and you can find recommendations for supplies to keep on hand at FEMA's website. At both an institutional and personal level, finding a balance between the chance of disaster striking and the resources required to be prepared is a difficult challenge, and not everyone agrees on where to draw the line.
And you know what? There's no excuse for not being prepared. Because there are people who would tell you, yeah, I could always get it tomorrow. I'll wait till later, and then I'll be ready. Yes, Ima.
Going back to the toilet paper and so forth, you can use newspaper or save your brown paper bags, because brown paper bags, it's still good. Rub it or wet it or whatever.
Let's say you have to wet the brown paper bag.
Those things are usable.
Yeah. There are many ways that you can keep yourself clean. All right, let's move on. Now, this is just with no power. So what we was looking at in these last two slides here was just no power. But when you have to add on a natural disaster or a terrorist attack, or you're in the middle of a war, think about that pressure on top of that. The insects, the bugs, the weather. When the lights go out and there's no fan, you start to sweat if you live in a humid area, or if it's freezing outside and you need to get some logs to light. You have to worry about the type of weather that's out there, if it's dry, if it's humid, if the insects are coming out, if there's mosquitoes, gnats, roaches, spiders, things like that. You have to consider where you live to factor into the equation, because it brings you to a better understanding on how to live and deal with those situations. So hopefully we can think about those things and prepare our families for when things like this happen. Run some family drills with your family. Every now and then practice certain things. Learn how to navigate when you're going home without the GPS that you put on. Like I said, get a map. Learn how to read a map. These are things that you have to put into play. The next question is, who's protecting who? If you notice, Esau and his family is always preparing the young ones. They train their little ones from time they can walk to hold a rifle, to ride. You see some little children on these hogs. They call them hogs or wild boars, which are four-wheelers going through the woods, driving from a young age, learning how to go through the woods and navigate and hunt and fish and to fire a weapon or a bow. So the question is, who's protecting who? The babies, the older adults, families overall. Are you expecting the 911 system to work when somebody's trying to break into your home? What are you going to do, Mishpachah? Can you defend your family? Do you know some basic skills? Have you fired a rifle before? Do you know how to wield a knife or a baseball bat properly? I ain't talking about just taking something and swinging and hitting everything but the person. These are things to think about. Food, medical care, supplies, clean water, a warm place if it's winter, because these things can happen in the winter. Remember, our Mashiach says, pray that your flight be not on the Shabbat or in the winter. So this is actually a time that disaster can strike. What skills do you possess? What can you do? These are questions so you can start thinking, okay? Now let me play this other video. Fair use, fair use. Let me start it up again. So this is a little survival stuff that you can try yourself, okay? You just go on YouTube and you can find a lot of different things you can learn. A lot of do-it-yourself, DIYs, do-it-yourselves, instead of going to a class or a school or something like that. They show you these ways, methods of building fires, building traps, shelters, fishing, hunting, stuff like this, medical procedures, first aid, those things. Wasn't that easy to build? Let me show it one more time. Because you can use it as a trap, you can use it as a basket. So notice what he's doing.
Just tighten it up all the way.
Put his nuts, his berries, his bananas.
I think you may have to travel. You may have to travel through the country, Brother Shea, and give some classes to Israelites. What do you say?
Well, I got some brothers that I'm trying to put together. I don't know if Brother Miles is on tonight, but we need him talk about doing some stuff like that where he can demonstrate in some some things for the Mishpachah. And anyone else who would like to do that, just let us know. We can put some things together where you can show your skills to help the Mishpachah learn how to do survival things. Whether it's foraging, knowing about different types of plants, edibles, with the herbs and spices and medicinal plants, what not to use, what to use, how to build fires, how to use the bow, all types of different things. So if you are skilled in certain areas, you can contact us and we can put some stuff together where you can share with the Mishpachah.
Fire starter, normally we think ferro rod, lighter, matches, something like that. That's what we normally think of right away. And although, yes, they're fire starters, we need to team them up with something. Like that ferro rod needs to light something. So to make these at-home fire starters, all that you're going to need is petroleum jelly, cotton balls, and a pill bottle. So to make these things, literally just take that cotton ball, smear it inside that Vaseline,
and then I just jam them inside here. You could fit a whole bunch of them in.
And these are good to practice if you're having barbecues with your family or whatever it is, or if you have a fireplace and you need to start your fire in the winter. You just make this together and you can actually start the fire this way. So this is a survival tip here.
There, keep them nice and protected, and you'll be good. Now these fire starters light up very well with a ferrocerium rod, lighter, or matches.
Vaseline and cotton balls. Very simple.
So a couple supplies that you are going to need.
And this is another version he's going to show you now.
First and foremost, you're going to go to just a local dollar store and you're going to get the cotton round pads. Okay, they're usually in the makeup aisle, so you're going to grab those. Next, you're going to grab wax. You could buy this at most grocery stores. It's called Gulf wax. It's paraffin wax. Next, you're going to go in the grilling section and buy some lighter fluid. It is heading into spring, so this is all over the stores right now. You get yourself a bottle and you're going to be good to go. And then the other supplies that you are going to need is something to melt your wax mixture in, which I just have an old tin can here. It can even be dirty like this one. It really doesn't matter. I like to use some aluminum foil for the drying method, and then you're also going to need a way to get your discs in and out of the fluid. I think a fork works best for that. Is you're going to get your campfire started, then you're going to get your container, then you're going to grab your wax. This Gulf wax comes in like little bricks, so I'm literally just going to take a half a brick here. I'm going to cut it with my knife, throw it inside here, and put it on the fire to start to melt. Now, paraffin wax, if it gets super hot, can catch on fire. If that happens, you just need to cover this with something. But if you put it off to the side and slowly melt it, generally that's not going to happen. And then once that's done, we're going to take it off the fire and we will add our lighter fluid, and then I'm going to show you how to progress from there. Like, it's super simple here. So my wax is now melted, and I gave it some time just to sit out and for the container to cool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our lighter fluid and we're going to add equal parts. So you're going to just eyeball this as you go, just like that. Literally, this is so simple. Now take your cotton round pads and you are literally just going to lay them in there and then take them out with your fork, let them drip liquid back into the solution. I'll show you a close up here, and then just lay them onto the aluminum foil. It's literally that easy. All right, about 15 minutes later, everything is cooled, and you can see that if they stick here a little bit, it's not a problem because of the aluminum foil. All right. If they're really stuck, none of these are, but if they are, you can get underneath here and peel that away and you'll be fine. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go test these fire starters and show you how awesome they actually are. All right. So now the true test. Do these things actually work? So how you use these is you break them open like this, and what's going to happen is it's going to expose all of those little fibers from the cotton pad. So it's the same concept as a fire lay. Small to large material, small to large material. What's going to help here though is the cotton, number one, is going to act as the small material. You have the gas on there to help combust it, and then you have the wax to prolong the burn time. Okay, so we get all that stuff in place. Quick little strike here, and look at that. Right up. Now, I'm going to let this burn for a little bit. I'm not going to bore you to death, okay? But they get a very nice long burn time out of these things. You can also couple this up with another one. You can cut these things in half. If you've been at the school here, you know that we actually sometimes cut them in a quarter, and you can still get a sustainable fire out of it. So I'm going to give this some time to burn. We'll come back to you, and then we're going to go show you some other tests with these, how good they actually work. White is nice because if you drop it in the dark, it's like, there it is. But let's say it's snowy out, you're in snowy conditions, white is probably not what you want because of the snow, okay? So you can very easily add some dye into this. You can get candle dye in a variety of different colors. You can add it in, orange, red, green, whatever you want to do, and you can make these things different colors and then stack them and you'll be good to go. And that is these things, pine cones. Can you believe it? Pine cones work really well with fire starting. The number one nicest part of pine cone fire starting is that they're super abundant. So you can take something like a trap basket and fill that thing up super quick if you find an area of pines with these pine cones, and then you can utilize these to get your fire started. Now, what's really nice with these things is they're generally dry. They don't hold a lot of moisture, and there's also that lovely sap. If you look at all of these little ends, okay? All right, get that flame up in there. The same as a stick bundle, right? So we get this thing burning, working real nice for us. And look at that. That pine is burning and we're good to go. So a great way to get that fire started, okay, is with these, and then keep that fire going with these.
So that is one way of getting those things that you need to learn how to survive. Basic fire starting skills that you can be able to boil your water, cook your food, have some warmth, have some light, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let's move on. And this is a picture here that just shows you different supplies that you can get as you're building your supply for your survival. Your go bags, like we always talk about, keeping stuff in your cars, in your trunk, change of clothing. Like I said, do family drills with the children if you have children. Practice on meeting up certain places in case of an emergency. They used to do these things back in the days in the schools. Now I don't even have to do these things anymore. Have emergency drills, fire drills, and stuff like that. So when stuff hits the fan, like for example, if stuff hits the fan tomorrow, what skills or skill will help you live? That's the question. What can you do that will help you survive? And there's many books out there that you can go on Amazon and you can go on YouTube, like I said, and you can see the videos, and they will teach you a lot of different things on how to survive. Again, another picture here. You see here, you have a little kind of WD-40. That comes in handy. You don't know what you may need to clean or lubricate. This can even cause fires too. Clean stuff off. A life straw, if you have questionable water that you don't know if it's drinkable, that you can actually drink some water. Duct tape, bolt cutters, a pot to boil. If you can afford a gas mask, get one. Flashlights, beach towels, shovel, boots, rope. So everything is there based upon your need that you have. You know where you live. You know what you would need. This is what you should be investing in. Then there is the mind frame or ability to control the fear and focus. This is a very important part of it. Are you an individual that will get others killed? This is the question. Because you would have some people who know how to survive, and others come around and they would draw the enemy if the enemy's around to you.
Yeah. Holler and scream noises. Yep.
Giving away position.
Mm-hmm.
If you say keep the lights off, they put the light on.
Mm-hmm.
Have one barrel of water, they use up all the water is gone. Are you a Ken or a Karen? Do you have what it takes to play with others without compromising the situation? Because there will come some time that you will have to share a space with another person or another family. And you have to know how to work with each other. But you don't want to be the person or people that compromises the life of others. So you have to know how to be disciplined around people. Because you see, if you know the brother has, he has a knife, for example, and he carries a knife to protect himself. You don't want to put the brother on broadcast when you're on people. Hey, brother, what kind of knife you have? Nobody needs to know that he has a knife.
Spirit of Hezekiah.
If somebody tell you to stay here and be quiet, Stay there and be quiet. Don't be like the person in the movie. Hello? Are you there?
Is it me you're looking for?
Who's there? Because you'll get others killed. This is the part of survival. When the lights go out, are you going to be the one that cause more trouble for the people around you? Are you disciplined enough to ration food, conserve water, and keep a very low profile from the masses away from you and your family? So let's say that you found a quiet little place somewhere in the bushes, up in the hill or down in the valley by a cave or an old abandoned building somewhere, because all hell broke loose. And you and your family is safe. If you've been there for weeks, quiet, nobody knows you're there. You have a little bit of water, a little bit of fire stuff to keep your family comfortable. You may have like 2 bullets left in your gun, and you're trying to save that. And here comes a brother or a sister, and you say, all right, brother, come on. You can come and bunk with me. They come over there, and you say, this is all you get for the entire day, this amount of water. Nah, man, I need some more water. And the minute you turn your back, they drink the whole bottle of water.
That's hate, brother. That's hate.
And you're like, that's all the water we had for the week. Oh, I didn't know. Or they forget to turn the switch off or something. So there's so many different scenarios that I can go through. But the whole concept of this is we have to be disciplined, Mishpachah, when it comes to understanding the situation you find yourself in. To keep a low profile, to not say certain things, not mention certain things, to know how to speak without speaking. Because people are listening, the enemy is there. So these are things to think of. Let's show you this video here. This is, I think, it's the last video I have. All right.
Average American uses 80 to 120 gallons of water a day, which makes water a super boring subject until you don't have it. When you're thirsty, all you can think about is water. So imagine that on a grand scale. So today we're going to talk about some water collection and storage solutions that you can have in your home, in your apartment, in your vehicle, and on your person. And we've got Zach from Cana Provisions to walk us through it all.
Okay, so how vulnerable is the American water supply?
Michigan, where I grew up in Metro Detroit, Michigan, but north of there, Flint. Like, everyone knows what happened in Flint, Michigan, as far as their municipal water systems breaking down, lead being in the pipes. Like, that wasn't a cyber attack. There was no kinetic action. Nothing got blown up. That was just the infrastructure falling apart. Jackson, Mississippi, they turn on the faucets and the water is coming out brown. You have the East Palestine train collision, everything that happened there with the PVC fire. Like, the water in the groundwater, the sources there have been changed for a generation. Talk to scientists who are dealing with that kind of stuff, and they're saying, like, what you're getting, the PFAS, the PFOS into the water, and then seeing the repercussions of what that does to our systems over long periods of time is absolutely terrifying. Like, the water might not come out of the tap purple, it just might come out of the tap looking normal right up until
flammable
you're
water.
sick, or your wife is sick, or your children are sick. So looking at this as a holistic thing, the probability of this happening is far higher than we want to talk about. SCADA systems in particular, which are the systems that control a lot of our power, water, and other infrastructure grid, are enormously vulnerable.
So the power goes down, the water system is going to be in trouble. If you live in a city area and you depend on the pumps to come down, it's going to be hard for the water to be distributed because now there's no running water in the pipes. So that's going to put a crunch and a squeeze on your comfortability that people have in the cities or in small towns.
That's why a well is very, very important to have, because you control the amount of water that's been used and the quality and all that stuff. You're not on a grid. And usually wells last for pretty much a long time, especially if you live in certain areas where you have access to underground water, like rivers running through. If you're living in a place that is arid, very, very dry, The high areas might be a good place to be. Depends on where, like in Arizona or New Mexico and those places. There are certain places you got to watch where the trees are. Certain trees have a deep root system. So if you're going to purchase something out in those places, you want to watch the terrain. There are places that you would find land for real cheap, like what's that place called in New Mexico? Forgot the name of it, but it's nothing but a dusty, wild west place. I mean, really dusty, and land was really cheap out there. You don't want to buy that. That's
$50 an acre.
I forgot the name, but I think it's called Demas or something New Mexico.
In some places in Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, even in California, some of those places where the desert is, where there's no mountains around, it's just miles and miles of just sand, rock, and sunlight. And land is cheap. But you can Dumas. Yeah, so you can buy property out there and there's no water out there. You got to drill 4,000 feet just to tap into a vein.
And it's not even that alone too, but there's a lot of dust that comes through all the time. So you're constantly using water to clean up your spots. You don't want to be in a place that, if it's a desert, you want to be a place to have access to aquifers and stuff on the ground, right? But the problem with desert property is that most of the time you don't have rights to what's under the ground, right? That's one of the major problems with buying property out in the desert. But also keep in mind dust, right? And some places don't allow you to collect water, rainwater. Like you have the monsoon season, that's the best time to have your huge containers to kind of trap all that water. So there's a skill set that you need to have to survive out there. You can, and it's beautiful out in those places too, but you need to know what you're doing to survive.
Yep. I'll just finish this video here.
They have many day, not only zero-day exploitations, which are backdoors that can be accessed, but a lot of those networks are completely unsecure. The government agencies, including FEMA, who also has a policy right now saying, be prepared. You and your family should be prepared in the event of emergency. Right now, one of the warning signs that everyone should be paying attention to is what's happening to the financial system. The cost of living continues to go up.
That's the next crisis right there.
How far money actually goes
Power goes out,
to decline.
Banks
So you
crash.
need more money to do the same thing that you used to be able to do. Right now, based on the financial piece, water coming out of your tap or your spigot is the cheapest it's ever going to be. It means you're not spending the time, effort, energy, or other resources, let alone security, to go and to get it. Hey, I already have it right here. This 55-gallon drum, I think last I checked, they're about $100 on Amazon, shipped to your door. The best part about that is from the shipping perspective is like, hey, wherever I can get free shipping, like, yeah, I want the free shipping, especially you're talking freight. There are other places you can find these, but you're going to pay freight because it doesn't come in a standard truck. It's probably going to come on a tractor trailer, semi-truck. So what's beautiful about you want a BPA-free drum, which is a plastic that ends up in the water. You want to make sure that it is, especially if you're feeding your family out of it, I want a new drum. I don't want to have to go through the process of cleaning it, sterilizing, going through all those different pieces. This ends up being absolutely excellent because I can stow this in a pantry. I can stow this in a kid's closet. I can put it in the coat closet if I need to. Aquamira, which we happen to sell, but you can get this from multitude of different places. This is chlorine dioxide. What we really like about chlorine dioxide is it's the most powerful disinfectant that we generally see on a general basis. That's not laboratory grade. And putting this, for example, these bottles into this is going to stabilize this whole 55 gallons for up to 5 years.
Wow.
Now, personally, I don't recommend leaving it for 5 years, but the important part about it is any of these solutions need to be stored out of direct sunlight and they need to be airtight.
Okay, so what about the...
So you can start to do that too, Mishpaka, on your own space. Collect your water, start storing it up. These are small things that you can do to prepare yourself and your families.
chemicals that you're putting in there? Can that, if you overdo it,
You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. I know you're planning on doing a class on 2025, right? but I need to make a note here. One of the things that I have heard, and I haven't done deep research on this as yet, but what I've heard is that part of the agenda for 2025, it's a Republican program that they want to have the president up and running like as soon as he hits the ground, right? And one of the plans of the agenda, two things is important, but I'll just mention about one thing for now, is that they want to pass laws where homeless people cannot sleep in the public areas anymore, right? Now that is a huge problem because a lot of people are losing their homes. So they go to parks, they go places that is public, Walmart, any place that, you know, they can have a sense of, you know, freedom, not harassed, they're going to stay there. Now, I understand why the government wants to do that to some degree, but it creates a problem because you can't go in private areas. You're going to get shot. You can get arrested for that. So public is usually the only place, the only option that you have. The reason I'm bringing this up is because land ownership is very, very important. How many times have I said, you don't know, you could be making six figures and some life situation would happen and you got to spend that money helping a family member out because they're sick. You may lose your job. You know, you think you got the best insurance program, plan or whatever it is. And once you lose your job, then they shift your insurance over to a different type of program and that runs out. And all kinds of scenarios that I have seen these things happen. I've seen people who have been in those situations where they were paying a mortgage and they thought, well, we could always afford this because me and my wife is working, we'll make good money. And something happens that throws them off. Now their homes is foreclosed. Mm-hmm. When your home is foreclosed, what do? You sell it. You try. It's hard for you to try to find a cheaper home to buy. Things can go sideways real fast, right? My point is, if you have a piece of land, it doesn't matter what size the land is, you can always have a place to even throw a tent up. Mm-hmm. Regardless, no one can chase you off the land, right? It's yours. But when you live in those types of rental and mortgage situations, you are at the mercies. The Bible says that the borrower is servant to the lender. You're still a borrower because you have to meet the obligations. And especially in America, if you don't work, you can't eat. Even if you're on some, like sometimes a person may say, you know what, I'm disabled. I'm going to try to get my pension, Social Security, to help me out. And they will say, they'll put you all through all kinds of hell just so you can get a little benefits, right? And if you own a home, listen to me carefully, Social Security will not give you anything if you already own a home. They want you to be penniless to help you. You got to sell your house. So imagine you have a home that's paid up for, but you need disability help. You have no other income coming in. You go to Social Security, can I draw from that because I'm disabled? You give all the proof that you're disabled. They don't want to hear that. They want you to sell your home because they're looking at you, they're pulling information to see what you have, and they want to put you in a bad place. And even if you sell your home, they're going to say, use that money that you have to take care of your life, and then when you don't have any more money, come see me. And I'm telling you, brethren, we have to, pastors are not going to be taking the time out to talk to you about these things. They want the money to come to them. You follow me? When we have these forums, it is to teach us left, right, front, back, up, down, all types of scenarios so that we can say, I don't want this to happen to me. Because our bodies is not guaranteed to remain the same way always. Sometimes you get sick and it takes a while before you can recover. And you're going to find yourself doing a lot of things that you didn't expect in life. So it's always good to have your own land. I've said that many times. And a lot of our people think they're going to be young forever. I can always make a hustle. I can do this. It doesn't always work out like that. But land is something that you can always fall back on. So when they push that 2025 agenda, if that thing comes running, right, Most High forbid that any of our people who have been on this forum should find themselves on the street. Because on the street means that they can round you up and they can do all kinds of stuff with you. You're going to have to comply with whatever programs that they have to compensate for not being on the street. And that's not a good place to be either, right? So take heed, Mishpachah, take heed.
That's right.
Negatively affect you as well?
So yes is the answer. You absolutely can overdo it. One of the good things about chlorine dioxide is it's very difficult to overdo it. With traditional bleach, that is a much higher likelihood.
So there are many ways and forms that you can store water, you can get water. Just be wise in what you do. Start. The hardest thing is starting. A lot of people don't know when to start, how to start, but just starting is the biggest thing. All right. Can you bear arms and defend your family and homes? That's the question. Can you hunt, forage, and fish to bring food? Can you build a fire to keep warm, boil water, cook, drink, and bathe? These are questions. So it's things to make you think, so you can start to put it to practice. If you've never done it, go and do it. If you've never been to a gun range, go to a gun range or go to archery class. Invest in some sort of security for yourself, some sort of tools that you can hunt and fish and forage. Learn how to use these things so when it's there, you can know how to use it. Again, when we went back, when we first started and you saw how the Most High left certain nations there so we can learn how to fight and war. So you ask yourself, well, why does the Most High want us to learn war? Because you have people who are going to come against you. And you have to learn how to defend yourselves. So there are a lot of TV shows out there, Survivor Man, Survivor, Survival Show, Dual Survivor, Alone is one that you see here on the screen. There's so many different shows out there. Naked and Afraid, which I don't know why you would be naked in the first place. But that's just the heathen spin on it. But there are shows that can teach you how to build shelters, forage, and survive if you find yourself in that situation. Right here you see this family here hunting for birds. They have some pheasants right here so they can eat. Down here they're fishing so they can eat. Learn to do these skills. There are a lot of books out there that can teach you how to forage. Different berries and plants. This is just one that I put here. And you see over here it says 20 wild plants you can eat in the wilderness. Asparagus, lamb's quarters is what it's called. Burdock, chicory, red clover, wild ginger, dandelions, green seaweed, kelp, American elderberry, cattletail, white mustard, prickle pear cactus, chickweed, miner's lettuce, wild rose, pine nuts, purslane, bamboo, and fireweed. This is just a few. But the Most High has put everything there for us from the beginning. We just have to go back and learn how to use them. See, we have been conditioned to just go to the grocery store. We've been conditioned just to turn on the television and to turn a switch on or to turn a faucet. But we haven't taught ourselves how to kindle a fire, how to draw water, how to plant a seed, pick a fruit, slaughter an animal. These are things that you have to learn, Mishpachah, because when the lights go out, what are you going to do? Things to consider. Start collecting things that you can use for your family in your own unique way. Because what works for me may not work for you. What works for Rebbe may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. Depending on where you live, the environment you live in, how many family members, your condition. So start collecting things you can use for your family in your own unique way. Start collecting things that you can barter with others. For example, you may not eat pork and beans, but you can store some pork and beans somewhere in the cellar or out in the garage or somewhere, So when times are hard, you can go to Esau next door and say, hey, I got some pork and beans. Can you give me some corn or something? Or I have this that you can swap. So things that you may not even use, you got to be wise in things that you do. Because you never know. Start collecting medical supplies. For those of you who may get medicines from certain places, collect them, because you don't know when that is going to stop. You may need some kind of antiseptic or rub or dialysis, whatever. Vicks, some tussin, alcohol, whatever you need as far as medical supplies and medicine. Start collecting it so you can either use it for yourself or you can barter with it. You say something, Rebbe?
Yeah, I don't know about that pork and beans thing. I mean, I know what you're trying to say, but as Israelites, you know, I leave that to the individual to deal with. You know, we got to be careful touching unclean things, but if there's a way that you can, I don't know, I leave that to the individual. I would recommend certain things.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is sometimes we can't use something because
I know what you mean. I mean, your point is valid.
If animal dies, we don't eat it. We give it to the heathen.
Yeah, your point is valid. Your point is valid. I get what you're saying.
But that's everyone's personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
So use your judgment, and if you have things that you may not use, give it to someone else that you can barter with, meaning another family may have something that you may need something. You may need some shoes or towels or matches or whatever, water. And they're looking at your food over there. So case by case, you got to know what will work for you and your family. Start taking at least 1 hour a week to learn a skill, Mishpachah. YouTube, survival classes, books. We have no excuse. You can learn something with the family. Instead of going on TikTok, Facebook, and watching hours of nonsense, learn a skill. Learn something. Start conditioning yourself to fast and pray than you normally do. Luke 21:36.
Watch ye therefore and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Hallelujah.
So Yeshua is saying you have to watch. You have to pray. Because there is a time coming that you will try to escape from disaster. And if you're not prayerful, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, if you're not prepared, you will fall, Mishpachah. Your family members will fall. So it says that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass. Not might or may, but it's guaranteed to come to pass. And this is what I'm telling you, a blackout is going to happen.
May I say something real quick? The text doesn't say that angels will be watching. Angels are always watching, and that the angels are going to tell you how to escape. He says that we have to be the one watching. We don't depend on others to watch for us. We have to be the ones looking and seeing, because everybody's area may be different. You know, things happen overnight. You can be in South America and something happened. You can be in the Caribbean and something happened that's different from what's going on in the States. The States will have its own unique issues. Canada, England, Europe, whatever, wherever you are. But we have to watch it accordingly. I might say, well, such and such is happening, but that doesn't affect you where you are, right? You might be able to escape one thing, but then you might encounter another situation. So it is left for the individual to be vigilant and watch in your locale, whatever is happening, and be ready. Hallelujah.
That's right. And watch the news too. That's right. Faith. This is the important part of the class here, Mishpachah. Where does your true faith lie? Can you be patient to see the salvation of our King? Or will you complain about the comforts of the hard, dusty earth? Because there will come a time when you have to lay on the earth, when you don't have 4 walls and a roof, but you have a tent. Or you have not even a tent, you have a tarp. You have to sleep in your car. Will you be content with that? Or will you be complaining about the situation you find yourself in? Again, the Most High puts us through situations to make us stronger. And yet we complain. So where does your faith lie? Are you going to be able to eat crackers and water with a carrot or a tomato? Or are you going to complain about the leeks and meats that you don't have? So when you look at everything that we're talking about, where does your faith lie? Can you be comfortable enough, disciplined enough to sustain whatever is coming and be prepared, because the Most High is going to protect his children that are obedient? That doesn't mean that we won't go through situations. We have plenty of examples throughout our scrolls that we can go to and see that the Most High has told his people what to do. And when we are obedient, we are always on top. But you see, when we're disobedient, what happens?
That's right.
So, Mishpachah, the blackout is going to happen tonight, because we're here live on this tonight. I haven't been paying attention to the news to know what's going on right now. If something happened else again, right before we came on earlier, London was on fire. We see that disaster going on there. We see how they're having the Republican campaign right now that's going on here in America, the convention. Other places in the world that I am not there, something else may be happening that you may be aware of because you live in that area. You have to be able to watch and observe what's going on around you, to be ready, because a major global blackout is coming. And then right after that is going to be a financial crash globally, not just for America, because they're preparing everything for the one world government to fall into place. Don't think, when I talk about America and stuff that's happening here, and I say this a lot, they run the world right now because the dollar is still the strongest. The military is still the strongest. But that's just for a time. That's going to end soon, where all governments come together and fall under one roof. And that's what they're preparing for. So Agenda 2030 that we talked about, that's preparing for that. Project 2025 for next year, that what Rebbe mentioned, that's preparing for that. The IT blackout that just happened today, that's all in preparation. The pandemic that happened 4 years ago, that was part of the preparation. Everything that they're doing is leading up to the end time that they are planning for, the one world system. The question is, what are you doing? What will you do when the lights go out? That's the question. So I hope we learned something. I hope I kind of stirred up some thoughts in your head. It wasn't supposed to be feeling comfortable. You want to think of these things, because when the phones go out, there's no access to get money, to make calls, emergency calls. There's no social media to get onto. You might have to leave your car where it is and walk 10 miles back because there's no gas. What are you going to do? And then it starts raining. Do you have the proper stuff in the car? Or if it's snowing, if it's hot outside, if it's 100 plus degrees outside, what are you going to do? So these are things to make you think. You have children, babies, newborns. What are you going to do? If you're pregnant, what are you going to do? If you have a medical problem, what are you going to do? So think about these things, Mishpachah, while we prepare ourselves for these end times. Any last things, Rebbe?
I think your class is to be added with all the other classes. I think we give enough information and reminders to our people that they can, really make some changes in their lives. And we all need that push. We all need to be reminded of what matters most. Every once in a while, I find myself running out of fumes, not even run out of gas or I'm running out of fumes, okay, where you just got to stand still and really catch yourself and retune yourself and get yourself together and get back on the grind to make things happen. It's not going to happen overnight, but at least if something pops off, at least you're in a better place than before. So yeah, Brother O'Shea, good information. We have the evidence with the news. Look at the news report, see what's going on. I'm always checking the news before I go to bed because I like to stay abreast. And I like to keep my mind in ready mode. If something happened, I can grab this, grab that, and whether I'm here, there, or wherever, I'm ready to go. So that's basically it. Before
I'm gonna share one more video real quick.
Oh, sure, go ahead, and then I want to say something after before we close up.
Put the Drudge Report and look at it in a second. This is just a video in case you have animals too, because you have to think about your animals too when you're having.
What sovereignty looks like. Here's what I mean by that. By purchasing these 55-gallon drums and being able to buy all my feed in bulk, I am no longer at the mercy of price fluctuation, aka inflation. It puts me in the best position possible. In this situation, I know a local farmer who was selling corn for $13 a bag, but when he started selling it for $8 a bag, I go and buy 50 bags because that's going to save me in the long run. The same thing is true for my chicken feed. While I don't have a local vendor just yet, I get everything from the Tractor Supply Company, but you can see all the grain that I have here. These containers hold 8 bags of chicken feed. This is about $14 per bag. You do that times 8. But now I'm not trying to store it in a building where I now have to worry about rodents such as rats. But the moral of the story is preparation is key, and it's not just self-sufficiency. It is self-sufficiency for your animals that feed you as well.
So you have animals, you got to take care of the animals, so you got to consider that also because they're part of your livelihood. And if you notice, the brother also was armed. See right here? So he's protecting himself. Go back here.
Price fluctuation, aka inflation. It puts me in the best position possible. In this,
see right there, he's carrying what he has to carry. So just wanted to share that last video with you. Remember your animals too. And this is the Drudge Report. Let's see what they're saying real quick before we log off. Still talking about the. This is a screen that shows because of the power outage. Here, biggest outage in history. That's the news right now. So when you get a chance, just go through the news and take a look. Go ahead, Rebbe. You was going to say something.
Yeah, I just want to let everyone know again. YouTube has placed me in jail for 2 weeks. I'm not going to be able to post up anything. That's because of the same rules and policies that they have. They're just on me like that. So this class is not going to be up until I'm released from prison, but it's going to probably be on some other sites. Now, just, I don't want to say too much. Let me see something. I'm just going to post something in the chat that you can share, because the reason I'm being kind of quiet about stuff is because I don't want others who are posting to get the stuff flagged and taken down that way. So I'll just put this note in the chat.
Yeah, Mishpaka, we just have to be ready. Make sure your families are ready. Anything can pop off at any time, and you don't want to be caught with your pants down. That's what they would say.
Okay. So, posted that note in there. You can go check it out. There's, we have another way to have it on YouTube, but I don't want to say more than that. But I will try to get this class posted on our website that you can check it out there. Again, I will be looking for another platform for the website because I don't really care how this one is functioning. I have a lot of issues trying to upload videos properly. But anyway, Most High is to be praised. He's going to work everything out for us, okay? So with that said, that's it, Brother Shay. Love you all. Stay strong, stay sharp. On Shabbat, we're going to cover New Age doctrines that is popping up amongst Hebrew Israelites. We'll talk a little bit about that, and that will be the beginning of many more classes on the subject because we need to see and compare and contrast. Look at what's going on. It's creeping in, okay? So invite someone to come on in, listen. I'm going to share with you all some things that is found in some certain camps. All right, so check it out. We'll be there on Shabbat, Most High willing. Most High bless you all, and the prayer team, Most High bless you all too, likewise. Hallelujah.
All right.
That's it. That's it. So,
all praises to the Most High. I want to thank Brother O'Shea tonight for that wonderful class. Also, our teacher, Brother Yana. We thank the Heavenly Father for you, both of you all. We just pray that the good Lord will continue to bless us, that we all will stay together and live together and take heed because the time is at hand. Father in heaven, we thank you again for the time that you have blessed us with tonight. Your words, your encouragement, Father, and the things that we learn, help us, Father, that we'll put it to practice. And that when things happen, we'll find ourselves ready and prepared. Prepare us now. Bless us and guide us wherever we are. May your name be praised. Bless us all as we are about to dismiss. Father, we pray that thou may dismiss us from one another and keep us together wherever we are. That when everything is over, we'll find a resting place in your kingdom because we ask it through your Son, Yeshua, we pray. Amen. Let the words of our mouth
and the
meditation
of our hearts be acceptable in your sight.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
strength, and Redeemer.
Shalom, family.
Halakov.
Trigger tsunami and left sickness, danger valley. Quick to transgress, playing with fire continually. The retinal scans as time advance, so that's technology. The way they stop, only one knows the Almighty. Some serial killers, company, woman, laboratory. Eugenics project, side effect, torment the baby. Medicinal bag of chips, we feed the greedy dummy. Marionette of the money power hungry. Trodden in bless already. Insanity tail a customizing species. First the other interfere where they should not be. Backfire sit down patient in a them lobby. There's repercussion for just the acts of iniquity. In Jacob of indignation there's no pity. There's no remorse and no way out and no sympathy. Continue to run your mouth and now you gon' see.